Good morning, everybody. It's a beautiful sunny day here in Pekin, Illinois for round two of the 2023 Ledgestone Open. Round two for the FPO division about to go off for our feature cards. Brian Earhart, Nate Perkins, Tournament Central bringing you the action. Let's talk the leader of the tournament after one round. Missy Gannon, champion from last year.
Yep.
held her own at Northwoods, not entirely satisfied, but still a 2-under is going to put her at the top of the leaderboard. What do you think she's going to have to do here today to maintain the lead?
Yeah, you know, Sunset is a course that these ladies have more experience on than pretty much any other course in the country because of how many times they've played it for this event, including a Ledgestone where they played this 4 rounds. And the bar at that tournament was 24 under. So this is a tournament and a course, Brian, where we can expect the scores to be in the 7 to 10 range. And at a lot of other courses, we never really expect that. What did Missy do last year? Missy went 8 under par during round 2 at Sunset Hills last year, followed it up with a 3, combined that with her 2 solid rounds at Northwoods Black, and she set the bar at 19 under. So I'm expecting Missy and the rest of the lead card to be in that kind of 5 to 10 range.
Well, and with the scoreability of this course, I think the depth of the division is going to show. I think Northwoods has its own unique skill sets of just course management, but all the players have the shots to go 18 under par out here at Sunset. So I think we're going to see some players lower on the leaderboard shoot some hot scores, and I think Missy's going to have to really press if she wants to maintain the lead. She only has a stroke lead over Ella Hansen. Let's actually hear from Missy after her round yesterday, hear what she had to say about it.
It was feeling really smooth initially, the front 9. You know, a couple bogeys here and there, but I felt like I was, you know, getting the birdies when I could. The back 9 felt a little bit more of a roller coaster. You know, I had to scramble pretty hard for par and, you know, try to minimize the bogeys. So thankfully I only got single bogeys, but yeah, I feel pretty good about it overall.
One of the greatest shots we've ever seen on hole number 1. That's how you open the tournament. Tell us about it.
Yeah, you know I had parked it in practice, and you do have to get a little bit lucky. There is obviously the main gap right down the middle, but I couldn't throw something straight enough to hit that main gap, and I know I have to kind of hit that high right side to get close to the basket. So I mean, that was the best I had ever thrown it, but you know, I knew I could do it, and it's just about playing aggressive and trying not to shy away from the course as much as possible.
It's 2 rounds at Sunset. You've talked about how you love that course as well. What are you looking for tomorrow?
Yeah, I just staying aggressive, trying to get as many birdies as possible out there. It's all about shooting pretty hot because most of the field's going to shoot pretty well out there. So again, just trying to minimize the bogeys. You shouldn't really get too many out there. They might happen, but yeah, trying to play clean and get the birdies.
Well, you hear Missy talk about aggression and bringing that into Sunset, but we heard from Ella Hansen yesterday that's not really her game plan this week. We kind of heard something similar from Simon Lizotte last year. Is this foreshadowing for Ella?
Yeah, I think potentially, as weird as it is to say that her back putting some limitations on her aggression could probably help. Ella is definitely one of the longest throwers, if not the longest thrower in the FPO division. And sometimes when you kind of have that in your back pocket, the fact that you can just rip on a disc, it can really hurt your game. And so the fact that, you know, she's hurting in her middle back and doesn't want to throw full power, you don't really need full power out here. If you can throw 500, really all Sunset is asking you to do is get the disc out into that kind of 330 to 350 range.
Well, that's the thing. So we always talk about how power players have the advantage being able to club down to something slower and keep the same speed, but really you can also just down tempo and throw the same speed disc and get similar results. So I think out here what's going to be good for her is I think maybe slowing down is going to be great for the timing, the consistency. We could see Ella shoot another great round because she has to play a more laid-back style out here. We actually did hear from Ella yesterday after her 1 under par effort at Northwoods. Let's take a listen.
Still kind of recovering from back injury from European Open, so I've been taking it really chill this week, trying to, you know, my number 1 goal for this week is to not hurt myself and keep healing. So I'm only really playing because I feel like I can do that. So trying to stay really conservative, not throw like too many massive full power shots, and you know, I think it worked out pretty well for the round today. Good off the tee. I had a couple of bad holes that kind of got me, but other than that, like, I feel like I played pretty solid and pretty happy with it.
Well, I think all season long, disc golf fans everywhere have been waiting for Ella Hansen to have that one big performance and push through to the winner's circle. We almost saw her do it at the Waco Annual Charity Open earlier this year, and we thought it was going to be huge foreshadowing for the rest of the year.
Yep.
Speak on that, Nate.
Well, I think it's a shock to me and a lot of other fans out there that she still hasn't won on the tour. We thought that, okay, it's okay that she, kind of, threw that tournament away, gave it to Kristen late, 4 strokes with 4 holes to go, because she's for sure going to win. It's inevitable that she's going to win. But now that, she has it, and that was still her best performance of the year, it almost, weighs heavier on her that, she threw that one away. And, I wanted to add a few more words about this property that they're about to play, Brian, because Sunset is one of the few courses, if not the first course on the Disc Golf Pro Tour that was solely designed for the FPO division. I believe Texas State's was the only other property, and I think that could be a potential future for how we structure our events, is we design a course strictly for FPO and then strictly for MPO. This is one of the best courses that they play all year, as far as the the aesthetics of this golf course and what it's asking the division to do, the scoreability and the separation. It's premium golf.
Well, I think it's going to be really exciting to watch this year, especially with the lower ranked players rising to the top, just like the MPO division as well. So many more unique winners on the Disc Golf Pro Tour this year for the FPO division. And another player we have to talk about that's making the lead card, Stephanie Vincent. We'll hear more from her after this commercial break.
I knew that coming up to Northwood, just to kind of keep it around par, because going out to Sunset, you can get a lot of low scores out there. So keeping it there, not again shooting myself in the foot on the first round.
Yeah, all morning I just basically kept telling myself one shot at a time, just stay in the moment, stay present, try not to think about what's happening next, just finish one shot and go to the next.
Well, we heard from Ellen Widboom first, but let's talk Stephanie Vincent right now. I mean, you're from the Austin area. She's from the Austin area. She's been playing tournaments a very long time. Talk a little bit about her game and how she's going to fare out here at Sunset.
Yeah, I mean, Stephanie has been playing this game for a long time, signed up for the PGA in 2006. And from, 2010 until now, there's not an A tier in the Central Texas area that she's not at and competitive at. So she also spent a lot of her time competing with Lisa Fakis, and she learned quite a bit of the game from Bradley Williams, and she's been around a long time. She has 3 full-time jobs, Brian, so the fact that she's out here touring for the summer, she had a great showing at Masters Worlds, you know, so I believe she's 42 years old. So the fact that she's making a lead card at an Elite Plus event says a lot, and it's going to be a big day for her.
Well, yeah, especially a course like this that's so scoreable. She said she loves throwing mid-ranges and fairway drivers. It's going to be right up her alley playing here at Sunset. Another player that I think has a great chance of shooting very well here, Ellen Widboom, who is an Elite Series champion, won the Idlewild Open, a phenomenal sidearm player, if not probably the most underrated sidearm player in the FPO division.
Yeah, and I think Northwoods Black really sets up well for Ellen's game. She's super crafty with understable plastic, and you know, as we're standing right here behind the green of 18, and the wind is it's here. It's not crazy, but looking at the wind radar, it's supposed to get gusts up to 19 miles per hour, and it's out of the southeast. And so if you're standing on the tee pad of hole 1, it's going to be a pretty decent left to right. I think when the wind does pick up, a player like Ellen Widboom is kind of at a disadvantage because she likes to throw a little bit more understable plastic, and she doesn't throw as hard.
Well, again, I can't count her out of anything. She's also, just like Stephanie Vincent, a veteran of this game and has played all sorts of different courses all over the country. So we'll just have to see, but she's no slouch out here at Sunset either. Another player that we have to talk about that we haven't talked about a lot lately, another winner on the Disc Golf Pro Tour, Maria Oliva, who round 1 put together an even par. She leads the chase card going into tomorrow. She's a big thrower. I think she loves throwing those long flex lines with the distance driver. I think that suits her pretty well out here.
Yeah, she's definitely has one of the higher ceilings in the FPO division, and I'm surprised we haven't seen her more on the feature cards this year. I feel like the closest look we got was back at Beaver State Fling, where she got her last podium. But another player who we were kind of expecting to be competing for a few more titles out here. But I'm really looking forward to seeing her throw out here at Sunset. She definitely gets the disc up to speed and has no problem throwing a fairway driver 350 feet.
Well, and I want to talk about one thing, because it'd be one thing to say, oh, you know, maybe she needs to clean up the putting here. You never can tell on UDisc when it says a player goes 0% from circle 1X, yeah. You know, and if you're looking at that right now, there's a couple things to take into consideration. She very well could have had a day where she had a bunch of tap-ins, which are not counted in circle 1X putting. It shows that she had one true circle 1 putt. So either she had a day of tap-ins or she had a UDisc score that maybe was a little new. But if we go off of the stats, you know, as they are, if she can clean up the putt today, the distance driver suits her well out here. I think it's going to be a great day for her as well out here on the course. Let's talk about Sarah Gilpin, one more player we need to talk about. Another player who seems to always pop off here in the Midwest in general, but especially at Sunset.
Yeah, I mean, Sarah really prides herself on, you know, minimizing mistakes, and that's exactly what she did yesterday. I believe she parred 12 of the 18 holes, and she takes pride in that, and she really works hard. Her and her partner Andrew Gilpin, you know, they love this game. They commit so much of their time to this game. When you don't see Sarah on the feature card, where you do see her is caddying for someone on the MPO side, and her and Andrew were caddying for Gannon Burr last week in the heat in Mid-America. She's a longtime caddy of Nate Sexton, so Sarah loves the game, and I think she's really excited for her chance to shine on camera today.
Yeah, I think, and the funny thing is we're playing 2 rounds here, but she also said she was surprised that no one shot better at Northwood. She said, you know, a lot of women were birdieing holes, but all she did was just maintain herself on the course, and now here she gets to kind of put her skills to the test and birdie as many as she can. With that said, probably so many more players we could talk about and analyze, but we're going to actually send into a commercial break on the other side. We're going to talk MPO this action as they head to the Northwoods Black course.
What makes the Halal Guys so deliciously different? You might have heard of our famously long cart lines that NYC fans happily stand in. Today, with over 100 plus restaurants across the globe, we are your place to experience authentic American halal. Enjoy our delicious falafel, Euro sandwich, platters, and sides topped with our famously flavorful white and hot sauces. Order online today and taste how we make different so delicious. The Halal Guys, bringing something deliciously different to the table.
Welcome back. Joined here again by PDJ's Hayden Henry. Hayden, you watched all the action yesterday. You were out in the ground. What did you witness at the Northwoods Black Course?
Yeah, a lot of what y'all have already talked about is the great mix of ages out here. You know, Stephanie Vincent got 4th at Masters Worlds a month ago, and we got Juliana Korver in the mix, and obviously Owen, and so many other players. So just really exciting to see what happens today as the courses switch, and that's a beautiful thing about the Ledgestone as you go from the woods. Now we're out here at Sunset Hills, so a lot to see. This place is buzzing. You know, there's 16 players within 4 strokes of the lead, you know, coming into Sunset Hills. So just another incredible week here at Peoria.
Well, you got yourself alongside many other PDGA employees out here this week. Like we said yesterday, there's over 2,000 amateur players out here scattered throughout the Peoria area. How much of an undertaking is it to kind of manage this tournament?
Yeah, it really gets in full earnest today, especially with the Ledgestone team side with, you know, like you said, 2,200 players on, I don't even know how many courses, 10. So just a perfect place to host an event like this. You know, the amateurs play in the morning, then we'll see them out here this afternoon to spectate and build that gallery. So exciting stuff.
Well, let's talk about moving forward, what's going on with the PDGA. It sounds like there's some new rules that we need to be talking about, quite a few other things. Let's elaborate.
Yeah, you know, every year the rules are tweaked slightly when needed. You know, the game is evolving, so those rules need to evolve as well. And there's several options for 2024 that are open for public comment right now. You can find all of those at pdga.com. Not going to go through every single one of them, but one that stood out to me was, you know, every player next year is going to be required to keep score, whether that's using the digital scorecard or a paper backup. And, you know, you come to these events or you go to even your C tier in these days and, you know, who wants to keep score, and everyone just stands there. You know, it's not like the days of maybe when we were coming up where if you were on the top of that leaderboard, you know, here's your scorecard. And then in 4 holes, 5 holes, you pass it along. You know, how many times did you have to tell someone, oh, I took a double bogey on this hole, and then they're like, oh yeah, and here's the score. So that's another one to keep an eye on. You can, like I said, the public comment is open, so be sure to go check out all those things, submit your feedback, and we'll see what happens in 2024.
Well, so much going on. Thank you for all that clarity, Hayden. With that said, we're going to jump forward, and we're going to listen to everyone on our MPO lead card going into today at Northwoods.
Shifting gears to Northwood Black, how are you going to attack that course and that rough out there?
You know, kind of same as normal, a lot of fairway drivers and some mids, and just, you know, try to keep it in the middle.
You know, I'm looking forward to the woods, and I think both courses are great, and I think it provides a great mix for the tournament as a whole, for sure. Definitely hit the first gap, and then kind of what happens you can't really control. You know, you're 3 feet off the fairway there, you might be scrambling or you might be in a decent spot. So I think if I can throw decent shots, hit the first gap, and depending on where the drive lands, get aggressive or not for the second.
It's a really hard course. I haven't played the best out there. I played a practice round yesterday, had 8 birdies, shot 2 down. So a lot of bogeys and doubles. So if I can get that under control, I think I should do pretty well. But yeah.
What are you looking for out there?
Consistency. Consistently in the fairway, I should say, because that's what you need for woods golf. Need to keep it in the fairway.
Well, it's certain to be a really exciting second round for the MPO division going into Northwoods Black. Actually, let's talk Calvin Heimberg first. He openly said during the press conference he thinks the course maybe got cleared out a little bit too much, and he wishes it had a little bit more teeth in the side of the fairway. Do you think he's going to be able to back up his claim with a solid round?
Well, first off, I love to hear that. That's a hot take for that course. Because on the other side of that, we had Simon Lizotte saying, "Give me a chainsaw. I'm going to make Northwoods Black the best wooded course on tour." So, love to hear Calvin talk about them taking some of that rough out. He wants it to be hard because he's probably the best player in the world at hitting fairways and getting the disc up to speed on a tight line. So, I think there is a little bit of superstition floating around the disc golf community. I know the disc golf community let me hear it for talking about Gannon's putt before he attempted it.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, Gannon, for making you miss that 20-footer last week. But I wonder, if, Calvin is going to have to eat his words later today when he kicks off into the deep rough of Northwoods.
It's funny we say that, but personally, I don't know if superstition floats around in Calvin's head. He seems to have that engineer brain that doesn't really necessarily think about stuff that way. I think when he says something, he truly means it. And I watched him in person when he shot the course record 9 under last year. It was unbelievable to watch. And the thing is, he's taking the same disc, that eagle that he's known for throughout the community, and he is working it on so many high-level technical lines with power. I don't think it even matters for him. So I'm looking forward to see how he attacks the course. With that said, a player that I'm really excited to see show off his skills in the woods is Ezra Robinson, who, out of the two, him and Isaac, he's the power player. He's the one that shoots well at courses like Lake Eureka. Do you think he has what it takes to shoot well in the woods at Northwoods?
I definitely do, Brian. I've been keeping a close eye on Ezra. He's really been trending in the right direction. The man has cashed for $57,000 in his career. $16,000 of that has come this season, including a third place at Des Moines where he cashed for $3,300. So he's riding a wave, and sometimes that's how golf works, is you build momentum, and then boom, you pop off. I've been waiting for his moment. Look at that back nine yesterday, Brian. He went 8 down on the back nine. The only circle 2 putt he missed, he went 4 for 5. The only one he missed was a circle 2 putt for a perfect back nine on the 18th. Ezra Robinson is ready to win on the tour. His brother, I don't think, is going to be the only Robinson champion out here.
I have been looking forward to it for a very long time, and that would just be such a story. Another story is if Proctor can take down a big victory. He said he's really looking forward to going off to play Northwoods Black, and I think you said a little bit ago you saw him as a power player a little while ago. I remember playing with him years back and being blown away with how fast the disc comes out of his hand. Talk about his skills in the woods and talk about what you've noticed in his game evolving.
Well, the first time that I saw Proctor play, 2015 King of the Lake, out in Tahoe, he had mastered understable plastic, because you have to up there at elevation. And, Proctor is a guy that, everyone had heard about when you go up to that area. Like, oh, you're going to have to play against James Proctor. Oh, he's the best local from Golden Gate. He's the best guy in the Bay Area. And he's finally committed himself to the tour. He's one of the few guys that still kind of throws the old school rock, and I think that really is going to play out there at Northwoods Black. He loves to throw those hyzer flips, and yeah, this is the first time, Brian, that we're going to get to see the back nine at Northwoods Black live on the Disc Golf Network.
Absolutely cannot wait for that. Again, 2,000 feet of cable laid out to make this happen. Last player we have to talk about real quick, Chris Dickerson, who put on a great show yesterday and really put on a textbook 11 under par at Lake Eureka. He got the holes that he needed to get, maybe a couple bonuses in between, and put together a round that I think we're not surprised by.
Yeah, I mean, he was playing 6 for par, so he's one off perfect through the first 8 holes there, including this shot on 5 that just climbed over the baseball field. That's a big 2-stroke swing right there. But I think that's the first glimpse of Robot Chicken we've had since all the way back in the spring in Nashville, where he took 3rd place. That's his best finish of the year. This is only his 14th tournament of the year, Brian. He took the entire West Coast swing off. He traveled to Europe for just the one event. So I think that Chris maybe is, at a slight disadvantage. What do you think? Do you feel like playing less tournaments is better at this point in the season?
It depends on how you spend your time. I think for Chris, being a multiple-time major champion, getting himself the contract that he clearly deserves with Discraft, he should go home. He should go back to East Tennessee, to his country home, and go practice and take his health seriously. I think it's a huge deal, especially catching that second win going into the last stretch of the year. There's a lot of players that are fried right now. You ask them how they're doing, and they kind of laugh and then sigh before they answer the question for you, which I think a lot of people out here are doing. But for him, he seems locked and loaded. So I don't think that he's at any disadvantage. If anything, bigger advantage.
Cool.
With that said, on the other side of this commercial break, we're here at Sunset Hills. Something very special happened to Holland Hanley. We have to relive that. We'll see you soon.
Join the Paul Macbeth Foundation's Builders Club to help bring sustainable disc golf experiences to people and communities around the world. For a small monthly donation, you can help us make a real impact. Your donation will go directly to making a difference. By becoming a monthly subscriber, you'll also receive exclusive updates on our work, special offers, and discounts. So join us today and make a difference with the Paul Macbeth Foundation. Together we can make a big impact, one small donation at a time.
Welcome back. We have to relive the Albatross back on hole number 6 here at Sunset Hills. Holland going for the green, looking for at least an eagle bid. You know, but I suppose dropping one in for a 2 on the par 5, not too shabby. Jumps in Josh from overthrows arms. What a moment for Holland Hanley. Well, she's not doing too bad today either, Nate.
No,
I know,
she's not, Brian.
Well, she's downgraded from the Albatross, but she's taken an eagle. She's currently 4 down through the first 7 holes of the course. Nate, is she on the right pace?
Oh, she's definitely on the right pace, Brian, and she's got herself back to even on the tournament. She's just 2 back of the lead. And, you know, sometimes I think if you get in the clubhouse early with the score, you put a little bit more pressure on your people that are still out there. They're kind of checking scores, looking at the numbers, and thinking that they might have to do something to keep Holland from catching them.
Let's actually fly hole number 6 just to give you some insight onto what she actually did. Albatross last year, eagle this year. It's 712 feet, par 5. It's a shorter par 5, but really what it wants you to do is it wants you to kind of throw with power off the tee.
Yep.
Blast one down the hill. There's OB to the right. But then from a sloped bit of footing in the fairway, they want you to go for this this green, I guess on the other side of this pond, you could call it.
Yeah. And the deal with this hole, Brian, is that because there's OB right, little OB left, you can't fully open up. You have to hit 400 plus feet of power with control if you want to get yourself into position. You can't leak right. You'll find that OB. And the higher you are up on the hill, the tougher the footing is. Most players are throwing this approach from 350 to 400 feet if they're trying to cross the pond in 2. So it's a big shot.
Well, the players are all going out there hoping to catch the pace that Holland is setting early. We're going to get straight to the action. We're not going to keep you too much longer. We're going to wrap up Tournament Central. For Brian Earhart, Nate Perkins, we will see you out there for round number 2. It's going to be a big day of disc golf here in Pekin, Illinois.